Flora here, and I want to kind of riff a little bit about stories and what stories we're telling ourselves. So, last night I didn't go to bed until like, I don't know, 1 or 1:30. It was really late. I'm not a late person normally. And if I don't get at least 7 hours of sleep a night, I feel like a zombie the next day. And I've been trying to get up earlier because it's summer and that's my favorite season. Well, spring, summer, and fall are my favorite seasons. I'm not really a winter person, but so because, you know, next week Wednesday is a summer solstice, which is like an amazing, amazing time of the year. That's the longest day of the year. Hello, yay! So anyways, I've been trying to go to bed earlier so that I can get up earlier. And last night, I got to bed, like I said, about 1:30-ish. And I was totally like getting on to myself going, shit, I should have gone to bed earlier, yada, yada, yada. I'm not going to be able to get up early. And then I'm like, well, it's Sunday. I don't have any client calls. I don't have anything to do except for like church at noon. It's like my version of church at noon for an hour. And then that's it, you know, and I'm going to crochet. I'm going to walk the dog. And one of the things that I like to do during the summer is to walk my dog early in the morning because otherwise it gets too hot and he fizzles out and then he lays down and he doesn't want to move. So then I have to carry him. And so I was like making up this story on why I was just, you know, I don't even know. It was just like, oh, why did I go to bed so late? I'm not going to be able to get up. I mean, and it was like this stupid like story loop that was playing in my head. And I'm like, what is this? So I go to bed. I get up at like 4 o'clock in the morning to go to the bathroom. And I'm sitting there going to the bathroom and I'm like, oh, I only have like 2 hours before I have to get up. And I'm like, no, I don't have to get up. And then again, I started the loop again. And I'm like, okay, this would be a perfect topic for a video because I see this and hear this all the time with my clients and my students, and all of us have these stories that are on loop in our head, these stories of why we have to do certain things a certain way, why we can't do certain things, why we have to do this and have to do that and not do this and not do that. And literally all these things are just stories telling us why we should or shouldn't do something, and they dictate what it is that we need to do, whether it's a healthy to do or not a healthy to do. So this morning, 6 o'clock rolls around, and I didn't set my alarm, but ironically, all of a sudden I popped my eyes open and I felt totally wide awake, and I'm like, huh, this is weird. I got to bed so late and I'm like really awake. And then I was like, what? But I don't want to get up. And so I started again with the story. So anyway, I ended up sleeping in until like, I don't even know, 8 or 9. And then I got up and I had some coffee and I went for a hike with Tank, my dog, and then I came back and I had a late, you know, breakfast, and then I just have had a really relaxed day. And allowing yourself to just let go of these old stories and let go of these shoulds and these needs and really let yourself just kind of go with the flow of life, go with the flow of your day, go with the flow of your energy. It relieves so much pressure and it relieves so much of the bullshit that we carry with us on a moment-to-moment basis. So I want to ask you, what bullshit story are you telling yourself? What bullshit story are you telling? I was telling myself, if I don't get 7 hours of sleep, when 6 o'clock rolls around, I'm going to be so exhausted. I went to bed at 1:30. My eyes literally popped open at 6 and I was wide awake. I'm going, wait a minute. This is not in alignment with the story I've been telling myself. What? And I like literally made myself go back to sleep because I'm like, I don't want to get up at 6. So ask yourself, what bullshit story are you telling yourself that is just replaying over and over in your head, and is it true? Is it true? Like, well, I can't do that because of this. You know, I can't write a book because I'm not a writer, or I can't wear a, you know, bikini because I'm 20 pounds overweight, or I can't leave my marriage because I don't think I can make it on my own, even though it's a shitty, you know, relationship. I can't make a video like this because I'm shy. Okay, that's just a bullshit story. Anybody can do anything. You just have to be willing to go outside of your comfort zone. And most people aren't willing to do that, and that's okay. But you have to be willing at least to call yourself on those stories that don't serve you anymore. I found myself in this situation so many times in my life with someone who was part of the family. She was a bully. She bullied a lot of people in the family. And finally, a couple years ago, I just walked away and I said, I cannot be by you. I can't be around you. You're a bully. I've never seen you sober. Bye. And she got all pissed off and she freaked out. And I'm like, I don't care. Not my circus, not my monkeys. I am not going to be around a bully anymore. And that was a bullshit story that I was telling myself, that I had to be around her because she was part of the family. And I'm like, that's bullshit. No, I don't. I'm not. Nobody has to be by a bully. You don't know. You can choose to walk away. You can choose to stand up for yourself. I was codependent for years. I learned it from my mom. But I chose, once I recognized that I was codependent, I chose to stop telling myself the bullshit story that everybody that I'm with cheats on me and everybody is the whatever, fill in the blank. And I chose to say, I'm not telling myself that story anymore. And that was hard for me. That was hard for me to say, I don't like the story that I'm in. I don't like the story that I'm telling myself. I don't like this repeat loop. And so I really had to ask myself, okay, what do I want? And I'm like, well, I don't want this. So then I gave myself permission to just stop doing anything and just say, okay, how can I rewrite my story? How can I start fresh, you know? And how I did that was I literally had to stop and I had to admit the story that I was telling myself. I had to admit where I was and how I was feeling, what I was feeling, and if I liked that feeling or not. And that's not always easy, but when you do that, the cool part is all of a sudden you feel so much freedom because all of a sudden you recognize, wait a minute, this is a story that I've been telling myself. Can I really change this? How could I change this so that I would feel more empowered? At any time, no matter what you're doing, you're either enabling yourself or empowering yourself. You're enabling yourself to be a victim, to be codependent, to be under somebody else's reign, or you're empowering yourself into action, or you're empowering yourself knowing that you are making a conscious choice in whatever it is that you're doing. So today, I know today is like, it's 2:30 here, Central Time, so it's kind of half over, but whatever. But today, I really want to challenge you. I want you to sit and say, okay, what's the one thing that's fucking everything else up in my life? What's one thing? What's the one thing? What's the one story that I keep telling myself? Oh, just another glass of wine. Or, oh, just one more brownie. Or just, whatever. Whatever it is. Just a little bit, what's the story that you're telling yourself? And normally that story that you're telling yourself is linked to that one thing that is messing everything else up in your life. So what was messing my life up was my codependency. And that literally was the cause of all of the bullshit that I was experiencing. It caused me to be manipulated, to manipulate. It caused me to feel less than. It caused me to feel low self-worth, low self-confidence. It caused me to stay in relationships that were very unhealthy with my intimate partners as well as people that were just in my life that were, platonic. But it caused so much damage. And it caused so much heartache, and it caused so much grief, and it caused so much bullshit, and so many stories running around in my head why I had to be a certain way and had to do certain things and couldn't do this and couldn't do that, until finally I was just exhausted. That was just the thing. When I was in my marriages, I went through therapy like literally pretty much the whole time I was married because I'm like, why is my relationship jacked up? Why? What's going on? And I worked on my marriages and relationships the whole time, but they never got better. I became a better communicator, but it fell on deaf ears. And the reason why is because I was codependent and the person that I was in a relationship with was codependent as well. And two codependents does not make a healthy relationship. I don't care who you are. And so if I finally was like, okay, this is bullshit. I cannot keep doing this. And I started to recognize the story I was telling myself. I started to recognize the story of no matter how much therapy I go to, my relationships don't get any better, and my spouses still cheat on me. And so I said, I don't like this story anymore. I don't like this. And so I chose to end my third marriage. And I chose to back away from relationships altogether. And I'm like, all right, peeps, show me a better way, because what I'm doing is not working. And I waited. I stopped doing all self-help in relation to marriages and relationships. And I mean, I still did self-help work for my spiritual practice and for my coaching practice and all this other stuff. But I stopped working actively on the relationship side, like the intimate relationship side of things. And I'm a self-help junkie, okay? So that was hard for me to do. But I'm like, I'm not doing anything. Recently I did a video called The Power of Doing Nothing. And I actually was at a family reunion yesterday, and one of my cousins was like, oh my God, that was such a great video. And I was like, oh yeah, you watched it. It was very cool. But she's like, yeah, it was so good. And she's recommended it to some people. And really, that was an epiphany for me, is I gave myself permission to stop telling myself the story of my relationships and who I find myself in relationship with. And I gave myself permission to tell a new story and say, I am not going to be in any relationship until I feel that I'm ready. And then I watched a YouTube video. It was called The Person That You Should Marry or something like that. And the lady was talking about how you should basically marry yourself. I'm like, rock on. Okay, I'm going to marry myself. And anytime I felt lonely or anytime I felt this or that or whatever, and I was like, oh, I wish I had a partner that would do this or do that, I would do that for myself. I would rub my own feet. I would rub my own neck. I would take myself for a walk. I would take myself out to dinner. I would take myself out to the movies. And my inner dialogue started to change. That story started to change. And then one day I was talking with one of my girlfriends about relationships and marriage and all this other stuff. And then our problems, and I went back into that old story. And then she told me, she's like, you do realize you're codependent, right? And I was like, huh. And I had to like Google it. I had to figure, okay, what the hell is codependent? And then I found out, and I was like, oh my God, yes, this is it. I found a different solution. And that was the thing that I had asked the universe for. That's the thing that I had manifested. I'm like, all right, peeps, what I'm doing isn't working. Show me a better way. And then I waited. And what happened when I waited is I integrated new things into my life. I gave myself space to rewrite my story. I gave myself permission to recognize the bullshit that I had just released and find that kind of symbiosis, find that calm and that grace and that peace that I had been wanting for years in my relationships. But I hadn't gotten it because I was always in these codependent cycles. And then when I finally removed myself from the situation and really let myself breathe and say, okay, what do I want here? Then I was able to recognize the story I was telling myself, stop telling myself that story, and literally say, what do I want? How can I create this life that I really want? You know? And that's the thing that I see so many times with my students and my clients is they say, I want a different story. I want to get someplace different. I want to feel different. I want to be different. I really want to have a different experience. And one of the things that you can do first and foremost is to recognize the old bullshit story that you're telling yourself. It could be, well, you know, some people might say, well, I'm not in a bullshit story, I'm in a bullshit relationship, or in a bullshit addiction, or a bullshit this or that, or whatever. And they're like, it's not a story. Yes, it is. You're telling yourself that you have to stay in that, and there's no other options. There's always another way. There's always more options. You just have to give yourself permission to just stop and recognize, I don't like what this is. So how can I look at it from a different perspective so that I can see it differently, so that I can look at it differently, so that I can experience it differently? And the first step for all of this is just to recognize what you don't resonate with in your current story, which is huge, 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 huge. So I'm not seeing any comments, and I know we have a ton of people watching. Hang on. I'm gonna fix something right here because I want you all to talk with me. Hang on. I'm gonna take myself off Wi-Fi, and that might actually even help with some of the comments coming in. Let me see. But I want to hear from you. What story are you tired of hearing or tired of telling yourself in your life? It could be, I can never lose weight, or I can't stop drinking, or I'm stuck in a relationship that just doesn't serve me. I can't, let me see, I'm trying to learn how to use my intuition and it's just not working. I don't trust myself. So let me see. Hang on, I'm going to mute my computer. Otherwise I'm going to start. Okay. Yay, look at you guys. Sarah says, you're awesome, Flora. Yay, thank you, so are you. Ellen says, I've been following your awesome posts for years. They really helped me through a very hard time. Thank you. Oh, you're so welcome. Yay, thank you. Let me see. Sarah said, oh my God, not my circus, not my monkeys has been my words from my mom for over what I'm going through right now. That's awesome. Yes, yes, yes. It's crazy. I love that because it really is. It gives you permission to say, no, this is not my responsibility. This is not my stuff. And yeah, it's just huge. The things that only get worse because everything seems to, when it doesn't go the way I see that it should. Yeah. Well, and that's the thing is that you can, when you realize that things keep going in a specific way, and you just keep trying the same thing and you're getting the same results, or you're trying different things and you're getting the same results, stop and say, okay, how can I look at this differently? How can I approach this differently? And also, that's also a clue for you to get a little bit more clear and a little bit more specific about what it is that you really want. Some people say, well, I want a healthy relationship. Okay, what does that mean? One person, it might mean you have sex 10 times a day. Another person, like healthy relationship might mean that you have dinner together every day and that you talk peacefully with each other. So make sure that you're specific, you're not too broad or too general. Let me see. Michelle says, I can't get a different career because I don't want to start over. Oh my gosh. This is so good. Okay. Oh, Michelle, this is so good. All right. So you're not starting over. What you're doing is you're branching out and experiencing new things. So you have X number of years of experience in whatever field that you're in. Actually, so who was it? I have this book. Peter Voog has this book, and one of the things in the book that he talked about was he said a lot of people say, well, I have 20 years experience in this job, and if it's the same job every single year, he goes, no, you don't have 20 years. You've got 1 year experience repeated 20 times. And I was like, oh, dang. Dang. Because most people don't expand their knowledge. Once they get into a job, it's literally on repeat, on repeat, on repeat, on repeat, and they're doing the same thing over and over again. So it's literally like 1 month of experience repeated, 48 times or 100 times or 200 times. So look at your experience on your job. How many years experience do you have? Do you have 20 years? Do you have 10 years? Do you have 5 years? And look at all the skills, look at your knowledge base that you have built up. You're not starting over. Like if you've got 5 years, okay, you've got 5 years experience in this. Now you're expanding and moving up the ladder, moving up the echelon to do something else that's bigger and better for you. Okay, so look at that in a different way. One of the things that I did, because I started, so my folks owned a video center. This was before the days of Blockbuster. And I learned, well, and they also sold Shackley, and they sold honey. My mom was a insurance agent. My dad was a purchasing guy. So I kind of grew up around business. And so one of the things that I learned early on, and this is one of the things that my dad taught me, he goes, if you want to run your own business, because I think we were talking about the video center, his business, and I can't remember how we got on the subject of owning a business, but he said, if you ever want to own your own business, do all the jobs or all the positions so that you know how long it takes for it to be done, and so you know when you give it to somebody else how long it should take. And I was like, oh my God, that is so good. And like, we didn't really talk about stuff like that, but for some reason it just came up. And so when I worked, you know, like for my parents, I learned how to keep books, I learned how to make change, I learned customer service, and then, you know, high school happened, and then I joined the Marine Corps, and then I was in supply, which is like purchasing and accounting kind of mixed together. And then after that, I was doing cost accounting. I did some reception work that was very small. I did OSHA, I was like an OSHA manager. I did general accounting. I did managerial work. What else? And then I did like homeowners association management, so I did like a lot of coordinating with contractors and whatnot. So it's just a lot of stuff, you know. And then I realized that I was never really happy working for somebody else. And I just had that in my mind for some reason, for a short period of time, like 10 years or so, that I needed to work for somebody else. And then it didn't even dawn on me until I was, after I was done with college, and I was taking just some extra classes because I love taking classes. And I was sitting there, we had to go around the room and we had to say our name and we had to say our, you know, like what our degree was, what our background is, all the jobs we've ever had. So it took a little bit for us to go around the room. And then people gave us feedback, and like almost the entire group said, you just need to own your own business. Why haven't you opened your own business yet? Now I had done that. I started my business in '97. It was called Home CEO. I did space clearing and home organization. But I didn't really think to branch out and go big. I was literally just a side gig, and it was only meant to be a side gig. And I realized, you know what? I really do want to work for myself. And that old story of having to work for somebody else just didn't feel right anymore. But every time that I switched jobs, I never saw it as, oh, I'm going to start over. I'm like, no, I'm moving up. I'm moving up. I'm moving up. So, Michelle, one of the things that I have for you is I would recommend that you look at, you're not starting over from ground one, from square one, because you have all these years of experience. So I would challenge you to write down everything that you know how to do, all of your skill sets, and package it in a way that it will be very evident based on your resume that you are moving up. You're not moving down, or you're not doing a lateral move. You're actually moving up when you branch out and do a different career. So, woohoo! I hope that that helps you, Michelle. All right. Let me see. I'm tired of feeling like I'm drained and weak physically and mentally. All right, DJ. I love this. I love you guys. Okay, say hi to Kelly. Yay. Okay, so one of the things that I would recommend is to look at where you are leaking your energy. Okay, look at what's draining you. So the practical side of things is you can make a list of everything that you do on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, and then say, all right, what is draining my energy? And, you know, these are things that any you know, productivity guru will tell you is rate 1, 2, or 3. Each thing 1, 2, or 3. 1, you hate doing it. 2 is, you don't mind it. 3 is, oh my God, you absolutely love it. And delegate all the 1 and 2s. Some people can't do that. But the more spiritual side of things, or the more spiritual answer is, are you feeding your spirit? Are you feeding your soul? Are you doing things that charge you up, that lift you up, that fill you up? Are you meditating? Are you journaling? Are you going for walks? Are you having sex regularly? Are you, going for a swim? Are you indulging in things that you know make you feel horrible? Or are you eating more things that are making you feel good? Are you getting enough sleep? Are you practicing good sleep hygiene? And these are things intuitively that you'll know so one of the things that I absolutely love about being a self-help junkie is you get all these little random bits of information from many different authors, and they just kind of coagulate in your brain, And then they kind of pop out and emerge at certain times. And one of the things that's popping out for you is you can ask yourself, what's one habit, if I started today and did over the next year, would benefit me the most in my life? What's one habit that if I started today and did for an entire year would benefit my life the most? That's from Stephen Covey. That's from The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. So think about this. Think about that one thing that you, I'm getting that you got it like boom right now. What's one habit that you could do? For me, my one habit, it's kind of a twofold, is to go to bed earlier. That's the one habit that I'm really working on implementing. The issue, and that, again, this is a story, is my kids kind of come out of hibernation or come home from work around 10, 10:30, 11 at night. So then all of a sudden we spend like 2 or 3 hours BSing and talking, and then it's like 1 or 1:30 in the morning, and then I'm like, shit, I gotta get up at 6 o'clock. You know what I mean? Now, meditation for me helps recharge my energy, helps recharge my spirit. So really look intuitively going, all right, am I overcommitting myself? Am I doing things that make me feel drained? Am I doing things, do I have things on my plate that drain my energy, that when I think about them, my energy goes whoosh and drops? So just really allow yourself to just kind of sit and just ponder. Just ponder, just kind of sit and just go, okay, I'm just going to sit for 20 minutes and do nothing. I'm just going to sit here and ponder and just allow Spirit to just speak through me and let my mind figure out the best thing for me at this time. It could be to say no to something. It could be to go to bed earlier. It could be to cut out this or cut out that, or to do more of this or more of that. But really ask yourself, and this is the easiest thing for anybody to do, for all of you watching this, what's one thing that I can do? What's one, well, okay, so it's kind of twofold. My thing that I always say to people is, what's one thing that you can do right now that will help make you feel better, or that will move you in the direction that you want to go? You could also do the Stephen Covey route and say, what's one habit, if I implemented it today and did it for a year, would impact my life dramatically? So give that a go. Think about that. And then also, I would challenge all of you to think about how you can rewrite this story. So, Michelle, how can you rewrite that story? DJ, how can you rewrite that story? So literally take that sentence that you wrote and rewrite it to a more empowered state. Like DJ, you could write, hang on, let me find your comments again. I am tired of feeling like I'm drained and weak physically and mentally. So you could say, I love that I have the opportunity and that I love that I have the opportunity to choose the things that make me feel strong. Okay? So try that out. Just switch and just kind of tweak that story just a little bit, that sentence just a little bit, so that you feel more empowered. Okay? Let me know if that helps you, DJ. Okay. Sarah says, I have to run. Thank you so much for your amazing words and thinking. It's basic things that sometimes help. Hence my philosophy of keep it simple. Yes, yes, yes. All right. So Usha, let me see if whoops, hang on, I just left. So I get tired and I'm always very lethargic, want to get busy and involved in some ways, like social work, some cookies, and I want to learn music. Okay, so tell yourself, okay, so it sounds to me, what I'm hearing in your comment, to me it feels like that you are so busy already, but that you don't have time to fit this stuff in. So then you can ask yourself, okay, so what am I doing that doesn't lift me up? And how can I rearrange what I'm doing or stop doing those things that don't lift me up and start really focusing on those things that really matter to me? Those things that really allow me to feel the way that I want to feel. So try that out. Usha, I hope I'm pronouncing your name right. And that, when we do things that don't fill us up, that don't really inspire us, and that they're just kind of you know, we feel drained, we feel lethargic, we feel heavy, we feel tired, we're like, oh, I don't want to do that, we're not motivated, we're just like, ugh, I don't want to do this. So letting yourself stop doing those things that drain your energy is one of the easiest ways to help you move through that lethargy and help you to get to that place of excitement and feeling like, yeah, I'm really excited to do this. Yay, So I hope that this helps you. Michelle said, that is so perfect. Thank you. I love everything you just said. Yay, I'm so glad that it helped you, Michelle. Sarah says, we love you too. Yay. Christy, I just started a meditation group on Facebook. Usually I have ideas, but my low self-esteem and ego kept me from action. Today I took action. I'm so excited. Thank you, Flora, for all that you do. You are very, very welcome. So one of the things too for leaders, because that's one of the cool things about my tribe and about all of you, is I attract leaders. I attract people who want to get shit done. I attract people who are willing to get just outside of their comfort zone, not way outside, but just outside, like one step outside, or even like a little half-inch outside of their comfort zone, to really say, what else is possible? Or I'm just going to play around with this and just see if it works. And I love that about all of you. Oh, I just love it. And so, Christy, one of the things that I would recommend for you is to really remember why you're starting to do what you're doing, why you opened up that Facebook group, why you started to want to teach meditation, why you want to start bringing people into that meditation sphere, and show up as you are. That's one of the things. I just did a video the other day about not waiting for life to be perfect. And there are some days that I'm like, oh, I look like shit. I want to do a Facebook Live, but I look horrible. Like the other day, oh my God, my hair was like sticking to my face because I was all hot and sweaty. I just got done with the walk, and like literally I was like sweaty in places that shouldn't be sweaty. And I'm just like, oh my goodness. So anyway, but I'm like, fuck it. I'm guided to teach a principle. I'm guided to share something. I'm going to hit live, and I'm just going to go for it. And that's the thing, is that your tribe just wants you and the message. They don't want perfection. Perfectionism it really doesn't exist. They want real life. They want you to be you, because when you are you, they start to see themselves in you. And when you are vulnerable, when you share the shit, when you share the mess, like look at my house, the mess, when you share the mess, then all of a sudden people respond to that, which is so exciting. She said, just did a video all sweaty. Yes, perfect. So remember that on those days where you feel like you have to be perfect, and those days you feel like you have to have your hair and makeup done, or you have to do this and you have to show up this way, there are days that you could just show up and just say, hey folks, I'm a hot mess today, and which is perfect, because all the more reason to meditate. You know what I'm saying? And then you could come and you're just like, yeah, I'm all blissed out, but hey, let's meditate anyway. You know what I mean? So show up as you are, and oh my gosh, that's going to empower people like nobody's business. Oh my goodness. Let me see. DJ says, okay, thank you. Yay. I love it. Christy says, my 10 to 5 job drains me, but financially I need it. My one thing is to accept it in the now, and during my time off, focused on my group and manifesting into my business in the future. Well, you could also look at, Christy, that your current job is your sponsor. Because you know how like race car drivers have sponsors, and you see the big stickers and logos all over their car, and those sponsors pay for certain things. Your job right now, your 10 to 5 job, that's your sponsor who's funding your dreams, who's funding your life. All you have to do all you have to do is show up, do the work that they ask of you, which is like, whatever, and all of a sudden, they give you a paycheck, and you're like, rock on. Okay, so these people are paying me to fund my dream job. This is so exciting. So think about it that way, and try to change that story that you're telling yourself about this day job. And instead of saying, it drains me, but financially I need it, well, it drains you because you don't want to be there, because you're like, oh, I have to work here. You can be like, I choose to work here. I choose to get here. I get to be here because these people are going to pay me to be here. Oh my God, really? To do this? oh my gosh, really? You know what I mean? When you could be doing so much more, but know that when you shift that story and you change that story and you say, I get to do this, I choose to do this, and this job is the sponsor. They're paying me to absolutely create this dream job and this future that I really want. They're funding your future. What a beautiful thing. So try to shift the way that you think about this draining job, because I get it, I've been there. And once I feel like, oh my God, I'm drained, okay, wait a minute, how can I shift this? How can I look at this differently? So I hope that this helps you. Usha says, yes, I'm here listening to you. Thank you very much for answering and guiding so quickly. I am now 61 and super annotated for my job. I'm not sure what that is. So you're so beautiful and cool. Stay blessed. Oh, thank you. I love you too. Yay. Aw. Myra says, I'm so grateful for you, Flora. Thank you. Woohoo. Christy says, yay, definitely going to shift it. Woohoo. Shift the shit. All right, everyone. So we've been on here for over 30 minutes. So actually, it's over 35 minutes. So I want to share with you a little bit more about how you can help yourself clear the bullshit. So I have this program. It's called the Bullshit Eliminator 30-Day Reboot Experience. This is for everyone on the spectrum of bullshit. This is for everyone experiencing that spectrum of bullshit. We talked about some of it today, that bullshit story. We talked about how you can rewrite your story. We talked about how you can look at things differently. In this program, it's a 30-day experience. We start on Monday. We start tomorrow, which I'm so pumped about. What we're going to do is I'm going to share with you this spectrum of bullshit, and I'm going to teach you and kind of clue you in as to how you can recognize what's causing challenges in your life, what's not causing challenges, what to address, what not to address, and how to address those things that really are messing your life up and messing with your happiness. And I share with you really easy ways to start addressing it so that it's not going to be an abrupt ripping the Band-Aid off. I mean, if you want it to be, absolutely. But I'm going to share with you various ways to address the bullshit in your life. And I'm going to share with you how to, like I said, just get right just outside of your comfort zone and start to address the bullshit in your life without really rocking the boat a lot. Because some people are in challenging situations, because everybody that's enrolled, most of you all have sent me emails saying, okay, this is the bullshit that I'm dealing with right now. So some of you are in very sensitive and well, just sensitive situations. Others are like, oh, the gloves are coming off, I'm ripping the Band-Aid off, let's just do this. So I'm going to share with you how you can do all of that, how you can baby step into making changes, baby steps into addressing the bullshit in your life, but then also quick action, the Band-Aid coming off actions as well. So another great thing about this program is that I laser coach you for like every single week that we're together. It's going to be part lecture and well, not really lecture, but you know, me sharing, me teaching, me giving you really good strategies. And then also, I'm going to be laser coaching you. So you're going to get one-on-one guidance from me for your specific bullshit thing that's going on in your life. So if you're ready to clear the bullshit, you're ready to even just get to know what the bullshit is and how to start looking at it differently, how to start approaching it differently, then I would encourage you to click the link below and to sign up for the program. It's $49 to get in. So easy for everybody to do. I really want to see you there. You know, we've been on here for almost 40 minutes. You're still on the line. You're still watching. So obviously you know you want to clear the bullshit in your life. You know that you want something different, but you're not quite sure how to approach it. You're not quite sure how to navigate through the changes and how to navigate through, you know, this kind of mess. And that's what I'm here to help you. I've navigated through a whole shit ton of bullshit. Like a shit ton. Seriously. And I've navigated those really challenging and difficult experiences, and then I've also done the really, this is just a small piece of bullshit, you know, type experience. And I want to help usher you through that experience with grace and ease. I'll be with you every single step of the way. So if you're interested in this, if you're curious, If you know somebody else who might be interested, tag them below. But if you're interested, click the link below. Check out the 30-day experience. It's called the Bullshit Eliminator 30-day Reboot Experience. Clear the excuses and live a life you love because you deserve it. My tribe, you all are in it to win it. You are ready to finally have the life that you want. You're willing and ready to do the work. You're willing, really ready to step just outside of your comfort zone so that you can experience something better. And that's what I want for you. So click the link below, check it out, and I'll see you soon. All right. Mwah. I love you all. Bye.